Welcome back to Stay Tuned. I'm Tony Angelo. Today we're here in sunny Camarillo, California to see if we can buy a very decent muscle car for 5,000 bucks that will get us across 2 states and rip down the drag strip. And I kind of already bought one, so let's figure it out. So we flew to California to participate and compete, I guess, in David Freiberger's Duct Tape Drags. It's like low buck drag racing cars. Everything's supposed to be worth less than 5 grand. Derek from Vice Grips got like a burnout pit going on. It's supposed to be a killer good time. And I'm excited. We flew to LA instead of Arizona to try to find cars, because I felt like there's more stuff out here and I want to do a couple things anyway. So we're here. I've been searching on Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, everything. And I found a couple decent cars. There's some cars in Arizona too, but first thing I want to look at is a 1979 Nova with a 5.3 carb swap in it. And the kid said it had a misfire. He's asking $38.50 for it. It's got a turbo 350 in it. It looks like a pretty solid car. And I'm excited about it. I always wanted a 4Gen Nova. It's a nice light little car. It should jam pretty well. I really wanted something like over the top insane, a Gremlin with a Caddy motor in it, or you know, some wild engine slot, but I just couldn't find anything. And it's a haul to Tucson from here, so I was like, maybe we get something that might actually get there. So here we go, let's go look at it.
I brought my little brother Lewis and Stone on this trip, and we are pumped to be here.
All right, so the first car we're looking at is a 79 Nova with a truck 5.3 LS in it. He said it's running with a misfire. We just got here, he kind of upgraded that to maybe an engine knock. Not the end of the world. We're definitely interested. I love 4th-gen Novas. It's all Camaro parts underneath. Good light little car, truck 5.3. He's asking under 4 grand. He's asking like 3,800 for it. So if we're gonna get a car for under 5 grand and get it rocking, this is a good start, but I just had it fired up. It's not running. I don't think this whole bank is firing anything. That's a big deal. That one works. Yeah. That one works.
That doesn't make sense.
That's crazy.
Are we running on one bank right now?
It might be. So I disconnected the coils on that side. I heard an immediate drop. Disconnected them one by one on this side. I had them all off. Didn't really change anything. So it's definitely not running on all 8. This would be like I'd try to limp it to the parts store and start, I guess, racking our brains, chasing wiring and seeing what's happening. Not great, but you know, it's a cool, I do like these cars a lot, so. There's definitely some filler and stuff in the quarters for this price. It's not the end of the world. Underneath the car's super clean. I'm going back and forth between like, I want a rowdy car that like, you know, is gonna be fun to drive and take to the racetrack. But also this is a pretty clean car for this price. I'm always fighting that in my head. Like buy the best car or buy like the rowdiest car. Cause I'm, you know, this weekend's about going fast and having fun. If that unit is bad, getting another one is going to be tough for sure. But we can certainly think about it. Is
there like a way to like check spark on each one individually?
Yeah, we could. Well, let's make a deal. We're not going to work on this in this kid's house.
No, I get you.
So let's figure out if this is a car we want to take a swing on. Let me talk to him about price.
Yeah.
Pull that dipstick out, Stone. Let me have a look at that sucker. Got anything on there?
Towards the bottom. It's fresh yet, so it's hard to kind of
It's not enough, but it's on there. All right. I mean, with the unknowns and everything, all the work you need, I would do. You want to do like, you would negotiable a little bit?
Yeah,
you think like 3,000? You would do?
about 3,300.
I could do that.
Yeah?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that works for me. All right, we'll do that. Let's do it.
Yeah?
Yeah, you got to do it, man. Absolutely. We'll look at one. We'll take a swing on this thing. It's an LS motor. We'll just figure it out or something.
It is.
All right, I'm about to be the proud owner of a 4-cylinder 79 Nova. We're going to try to make it into an 8-cylinder one.
First ever 4-cylinder LS.
It's like a
That might be the smoothest
suggestion.
key I've ever seen.
It's got quite a hook in it.
That's the step right before a screwdriver.
It's
Basically, it's really good. All right, we're pulling out in the 79 Nova.
It's not happy about it.
It hates everything we're doing. The interior's pretty cool.
Dude, the interior is actually really nice. I love them gauges.
It's trying to make a left turn real hard, and it's running on 4 cylinders for sure.
Yeah.
It's got 19 PSI oil pressure.
Full tires, hopefully balance that out.
We're gonna fill the tires up. I'm gonna immediately start messing with the wiring, and we're gonna get somewhere with this thing.
I'm still pretty astonished that we're only running on a left bank.
That's the good one. That's the driver's side.
Right, so you
Come
only
on,
need one
man.
side.
You're gonna pick one. That's the one you want to have. All right. So we need gas. We need air. We need it all. We need 4 more cylinders. All right, I made it to the gas station.
I mean, if we're thinking positive, like, we're halfway there with the engine.
That's the worst thing I ever heard. All right, first drive, maybe half a mile, not confidence inspiring. It's definitely running on 4 and sounding pretty bad. We're just gonna start messing with it. We're gonna fill up with gas, fill up with air in the tires. I'm gonna start immediately looking at the wiring, and we gotta get that other bank fired up, and then hopefully this thing comes to life. Here's what I feel about this car, 100%. We're either gonna like twist a couple wires and it's gonna run perfectly, or it's gonna be a straight disaster and we're never gonna make it. That's how I feel.
It's either gonna be stupid simple or impossible.
Or a complete disaster. What's it gonna be? I don't know yet. I wish I could fast forward this video and find out.
Should we stay tuned?
Yeah, we'll all stay tuned for that. All right, let's see what we got going on here. So it'd be unusual for a whole bank of coils to go bad. I'm not entirely sure. I'm gonna see if I can see any sparks anywhere. Oh my God, dude.
There it is.
Bro, he's got a bad ground. There's no ground on this.
There's no ground at all, dude.
So each one of these grounds needs to be grounded to its own side cylinder head. Okay, and this ground is gone. So we need a little bit of wire and a bowl. Let's not get ahead of ourselves, but it's very exciting.
You were like,
woo! All right, we might make this one, boys. All right, so it should be at the cylinder head. I certainly can imagine. I'm very excited. Where's this wire going? Is this the one that got cut?
I gotta go urinate with excitement.
Yes, that's how I always do it. So it should be to each cylinder head. That's what MSD wants you to do. And that's gonna.
Could you go to here?
I can probably just stash it under this little Allen head bolt for now, but
Could you?
I think we should fire it up, and I'll do my best to find a ground
Just
with
to
this
hold it
thing
there?
and hold it and see if the whole thing comes to life.
Yeah. Nothing.
If this car fires on 8 cylinders because that ground is gone,
I feel like we should bring it back to the kit. No, I'm joking. What's this?
this will have been a very solid deal. This is a thermo probe that needs to be shoved into the radiator or it will not fire off the fans.
Okay.
It needs to be literally jammed into the, where'd it go?
So
All right, we're gonna try to extend this thermocouple so it can actually get stabbed into the
Now,
radiator through the front. You do want to go through the front because the whole thing's got a big shroud on it. It's a big old one too.
right? And those fins are not that big.
It's in there.
That's what I told her.
Okay. All right, that wire is now sticking in the radiator. We should try to ground this.
Yeah.
We have no tools yet.
Tell me where the.
What do you have? You have a multimeter or multi-tool? You gave it to me, right?
Yeah, I have an Allen kit too.
You have an Allen kit? Hit me with the Allen kit. All right, so we are in California. We didn't bring any tools. All we really brought was our stuff and 50 Stay Tuned shirts to sell at the event. We bought some jumper cables already, and that's it. Our shooter, Matthew, has a cool multi-tool and an Allen kit. An Allen, Allen wrenches, set of them. So he's gonna get that, and we're trying to get this thing fired up. Taking a quick break, show you how you can support Stay Tuned if you want and look super fly doing it. We have a ton of our merch back in stock. We brought back The Stay Tuned Down and Dirty East Coast Speed white pocket tee. That thing is flying already out of the shop. We're gonna lose the shop, our classic joke that we all crack all the time, and our pizza team with a racing problem shirt, plus proper Stay Tuned hats, trucker style Richardsons. They're killer. There is a link in the description, or you can click the link up here. We appreciate you, and now let's get back to jibber jabbering. All right, so I ripped just a length of wire off of the driver's side floor. It was going nowhere, I think. Lou, you wanna break one of those Allens free? It's just ground, so we don't really even need to cover it. But really wrap this around there. We should have a nice, decent gauge wire, but at least this will tell us if we're in business or not.
So
it's metal, bolted to metal. We don't have anything to loosen that up with. We don't have any tools yet. You know what, I'm gonna hold it. That's what we're gonna do.
I'll hold it, honestly.
I'm gonna hold it on the head. I'm gonna twist this together. Strip this ground back. All right, and I can probably put it in the head and shove a stick in there until we get to an auto parts store. Then I feel like there's probably a carb cleaning in our future.
Oh yeah.
That thing looks awful. All right, Stone, you want to hit it? Here we go, let's see if we're on 8. I have it shoved in the cylinder head. It's probably decent ground, I hope.
Why did that pop in?
Listen to it.
Yeah. So now pull one off.
Oh, it's running on 8.
Yeah,
I guarantee it.
I know.
Watch this. Oh, now it's running different. This side is definitely firing. This thing sounds like $1 million. All right, boys. We just might make it. I was not, yeah, this side header is burning off oil because it hasn't been warm in probably weeks. So you're gonna see some of that now. Oh, cut it off? All right, I grounded it. It's running on 8. This is not fake. This is 100% what has happened to us in California. I paid $3,300 for an L-Swap Nova that ran on 4 cylinders. I regrounded this side and it's fired right up and it sounds 1,000,000 times better. We have to drive it all the way through the desert. I was feeling pretty hopeless about it and I feel a lot better now. So we're gonna drive it to the auto parts store. We're gonna get an air cleaner on it. We're gonna get a carb rebuild kit, some carb cleaner, and we're gonna hit the road. Hey, I'm popping into the duct tape video just to say, as you know, stay tuned. I'm back in PA. We are a pizza team with a racing problem, and we're gonna dig in here. We're working on next week's episode, but I really feel like we should do something to help. As you know, Hurricane Helene hit the States last week. Huge loss of life, property. It's a disaster area still. A little bit inspired by Cletus taking his helicopter out there and doing a bunch of drops of insulin and fresh water. Super, super cool. Around this point, we'd ask you if you want to, you can buy us a pie. So we're gonna put the buy us a pie link up there, but here's what's gonna happen. Whatever you guys donate into the Let's Buy Us a Pie link for this week, we'll cut it off next Thursday. We're gonna donate that to the Hurricane Helene relief efforts, and I will match whatever you donate up to, we'll say like 5,000 bucks. Okay, so get nuts, donate, it'll go to a good cause. People really need help. It's wicked cool, and we appreciate y'all no matter what. Anyway, I'm gonna dig in, and hopefully we can do a little bit of good here. Thanks. Maybe we'll send out some pizzas too. All right, I got a piece of a stick I found jammed in there holding the ground on. We're gonna hit the road, get the auto parts store, and make a plan. We're running on 8 cylinders already. Best day ever. All right, let's hit it. We need an air cleaner. We need to check all the fluids. We need more oil, that's a little low. We've got some work ahead of us, but we've got a motor now. Let's do it. Yep, all right. It's got a V8 in there. Little brakes. Brakes are great. Steering all over the place, but I don't know. I think the tires are pretty shot.
Yeah.
I mean,
They've been sitting, they're dry rot.
we got a LS swap Nova for $3,300,
Right.
and we're driving it already.
You can't even do an LS swap for $3,300.
Feels pretty old. We do have water temp.
Hey.
Let's keep an eye on it. I don't know. I stabbed that probe in the radiator, but hopefully it's not going to get too hot.
Okay.
Make sure we get some fan action going. If not, we'll just hot wire them or pull the sensor or something. Feel pretty good. It's a good day. We have a lot of desert driving to do. It's at 190 or so already. We're gonna have to mess with that, make sure those fans are running and rocking. All right, so we just made it back to the Napa and AutoZone parking lot. So we have basically everything we need. We're gonna make a quick list. It drove here awesome. It got pretty warm. The fans are not running. We'll probably wire them on direct. The water temp gauge is working, which is great. I know it's a little bit low on oil. We went to the list real quick, Stone. Yeah, so we need oil. Yep. I'd say get carb cleaner. That thing looks disgusting. We need an air cleaner stud. We'll get a carb rebuild kit if we can. We will get a throttle return spring bracket if we can. But we have a strong running LS powered Nova for $3,300. This is bananas. It drives terribly, steers all over the road. These tires are miserable, but I think we should give them a little more time to turn back into circles from being squares, but if not, we may have to change them. Either way, this thing is pretty solid. Brakes work. I've driven worse cars, and I certainly feel like this is a solid price, and for getting a, we've got $5 grand to spend-ish if we want to. We could even do some upgrades to this thing if we ever make it to Arizona. This is awesome. This is awesome. Awesome. All right, so we are trying to get this thing to run a little bit cooler. The fans didn't come on the way over here. It got to like 210. LS motors do pretty happily run over 200 degrees, but we want to make sure the fan is working, and it didn't come on at all. I'm looking into this. It has a little Hayden electronic controller. It has an AC override, so theoretically, if I put 12 volts to this, the fan should kick on. We're going to test that now, and if that is the case, I'm going to wire it into the ignition feed wire, and then anytime I turn the car on, the fan's going to run. I don't have to worry about the thermostat control. Just to make sure it runs as cool as it can. We're in California. We need the fans to be on. She's running a little hot under the collar already. Okay, good there. And then we're gonna get our attention to a few other things. All right, where's my main?
Your guide fell out.
Yeah, exactly. This is supposed to be stabbed into the radiator. That's how these work. I don't love them. This is aluminum fin, so they don't really hold it. As soon as you shove it in, it gets loose. It doesn't work. We're gonna try to get rid of that part of the system. Where are we here with our guys? All right, so hit that. Hit that. Stone, turn the key on. It's doing it. You put the fuse back in?
Yep, that feels good.
Maybe wiggle that ground for the... Unless this is bad power here. So I'm giving it power. I'm hearing the relay fire off, which is good. I'm not getting anything. Fan's not doing anything.
There it goes.
Is that me?
Just whatever you did, make sure that wire's tight. Give her a wiggle. All right, so the AC override's working.
It's this ground. It's this ground. It's gonna get better.
It's got some garbage grounds on it. We're gonna fix it. All right, so I'm gonna wire these all together. It's gonna make us have fan on whenever the key is turned, and we're one more step closer to getting down the road. So we are ready to rock. We're gonna hit the streets. We're actually like an hour and a half northwest of LA, so we're even further from Tucson. It's saying it's gonna take us 9.5 hours to get there, but now we have a fan that turns on, we have an air cleaner, we've got a little more oil in the motor, and we should be actually running the coolant properly for the top air bleeds out of the head. So all big improvements. We're gonna put this thing on the road and start putting some miles down and see how we feel in about an hour or two. I'm excited, this is awesome.
How about that?
Dude, runs
How about
so
this
good.
puppy?
Runs so good.
It's hyperactive. Seatbelts, but I feel safe in them. Just checking the car for bodily fluids. Just checking the car for bodily fluids. Looks clean. We just had, we stopped real quick for a fancy dinner with Freddie, you know him as Tavarish. Decided to let the air outside cool down. We're gonna push through the night because it's gonna be brutally hot tomorrow. Car's rocking. I think we've gone 100+ miles already, which feels great. We've got one issue, the wheel is vibrating the whole time I'm driving, and then if you move it a little bit left or a little bit right, it goes away. I'm thinking one of the little Allen set screws that locks the steering shaft in place is smashing into the header. I can see it actually kind of like wearing a groove in the header. I'm afraid it's gonna poke a hole in that sucker if it hasn't already. So we're gonna try to either grind it down or punch a dent in that header and keep on trucking. This thing is awesome. We are in Rancho Cucamonga, I think. So we are way out of LA, all the way east. We're gonna keep on pushing until we get to Arizona, or we, fall asleep, whatever happens next. But this car has been pretty great so far.
Tucson or bust, baby.
This one, can maybe swap it with this seemingly shorter one.
This is also good because everything's nice and warm, so I don't get cold while I work on it.
Yes.
Look at that. Talk about magic. That's magic. Get a relook at anything different. Ah, it's definitely a little taller.
All right, I might do it.
All right.
Let's try her.
I think we're clear.
Sick.
Nice.
I think we did it. Mostly you, but good work. We're good. We are gonna keep on chugging into the barren desert of Arizona. We're still in California for another probably 100 miles, but we're gonna keep on rocking. We've got 6 hours to go. And it's getting late and I'm getting tired. But a little coffee, hit the road, and see what happens. All right, let's do it. So we made it just past Phoenix last night. Temperatures are about 80 degrees. The car is running happy. And we wound up getting into a hotel at about 7 o'clock. Crashed for a few hours, 3 hours in the shower. I felt pretty good. And I stepped outside here. We've got another hour to drive. It's 109 degrees here. It's 100 and why do people live here? It's 109. It's September. It's the fall. Anyway, it's 109. I had a very dodgy gas station breakfast burrito, and we're gonna put some air in this tire and hit the road. Duct Tape Drags, next stop. If the car doesn't literally melt into the ground. Yeah, don't touch anything. It's hot as can be. It's hot, hot, hot. Ah, woo, woo, that's hot. Everything's hot.
We're about to change the name of this to St. Elmo's Inferno.
Yeah, I like it. It's hot.
You got a completely flat tire.
Yeah, don't worry about it. It is so hot, I can barely touch anything. I had to put a rag on the steering wheel until we got moving. It's too hot to be a human being out here. Lizards, maybe. Humans, bad idea. We have a no water temp gauge, so don't ask, don't tell.
Yeah, strictly by feel. When you feel it coming out the rad and over the hood.
When it's burning our legs because of all the holes in the firewall, it's too hot.
I mean, we have a lot of gauges. It's just awesome that none of them are accurate.
None of them are closed. It says I'm going 140 mile an hour, turning 5,200 RPM. The gas gauge works in reverse. Half is full and full is empty. It says we're running about 8 volts through this thing and 18 PSI oil pressure. So the only one that seems reasonable is that one, and I don't like it. Some dude's next to us with a CUDA.
Whoa.
He's bringing a CUDA to Duct Tape Drags. So it's gotta be under 5 grand. I bet his trunklet's about 5 grand. So David Freiberger led like a whole fleet of cars out of Los Angeles this morning at 7 a.m. which is a thing that we purposely skipped so we could run last night. We ran as far as we could. We probably would have kept going. We were on no sleep for a whole day. But we started calling ahead to Tucson and all the hotels were booked. So we got the last hotel between the two.
Yeah, brother.
And got about a mile, we got 60, 70 miles left to go.
Yep.
But those guys are cooking through the heat all day. And I can't imagine that's gonna work in LA traffic. But we'll see. Well, we tried to see if we could buy a cheap, fun muscle car for way less than 5 grand. And this thing has been such a champ, and it looks halfway decent underneath all that dirt. I decided, let's cool it off, give it a quick scrub before we hit the track. We're about 20 minutes out. This thing is cruising along in 107-degree heat and hasn't missed a beat. It's probably the best car I ever bought. It's awesome. So I think we should show up shining like a new dime. All right, so we are gonna take this puppy out. We've got 20 minutes left to get to the track, which is awesome. We've just about made it. We're gonna get there. We've got some upgrades. We've got a nitrous kit. We've got slicks to put on this thing. We've got to make the shifter go into first, and we've got to figure out why it's reading really low oil pressure, which could be a big deal. After that, time to send this puppy down the track. And all I keep thinking about is it's 107 degrees here, and it's like 68 at home. But I'm here, I'm stoked. The car is incredible. Let's rock. All right, we're in the final couple of miles to get to Tucson Dragway. Feeling good, car's clean, it's rocking. When I got in this car, it said it had 1,577 miles on the aftermarket odometer. It reads wrong. Now it says it has 2,900. So I believe we probably put as many miles on this thing in one day as I think probably James did the entire time he owned it, or since it's been built, so pretty wild. So the kid that I bought the car from, James, nice young kid, it was his first anything car, he said. It was like his dream muscle car, he couldn't get it running right. He started, I told him about the channel, and he said, oh, I'll follow you along. He followed my social media, Angelo96 on Instagram if you want to follow our exploits. And he's like, oh wow, I saw you guys got the car to Arizona last night. Did you get it running on 8 cylinders? I said, we sure did, buddy. We figured out the wiring problem, got it figured out. Immediately started running on 8, cleaned the carb out a little bit, rerouted the coolant so that the top of the cylinder heads are actually flowing, and got the fan to turn on as soon as you turn the key. And we hit the road.
We spent literally more time driving it than we spent working on it, fortunately.
Well, I was
Fortunately for
thinking,
us.
we don't live in Arizona. If this car survives the weekend, what are we gonna do with it?
Right.
And I didn't even mention the idea to him, and he said, hey man, if you want, I'll buy it right back from you. So that might happen. I said, hey man, I can't guarantee it's gonna be a car in 2 days.
Right.
Right now, it's a great car. What it's gonna look like Saturday night, I don't know. I'll keep you posted.
Right.
It is nuts that $3,300 car that we did not that much work to just drove us into this blistering heat, right? And it jams pretty good, allegedly. Should be right here. Oh, I got it. We have made it. We're here, baby. Let's go. So we have made it to Tucson Dragway. The Nova's here. We've got a couple of things we're gonna try to figure out before we take it down the track because there's racing Friday night and Saturday. We hit up Speedway, we picked up slicks and a nitrous plate kit and had it overnighted. So those things are right over there, but we're not gonna dig into them right this second because we wanna make sure that the car's running it right first. Oil pressure's been running around 12 to 15 PSI the whole time. We're gonna put a mechanical gauge on it just to make sure that that's exactly what it's doing. And if it is what it's doing, we're gonna dig in maybe into the pan, the pump, and see what's up with that. It has a mysterious brand new transmission leak. We're gonna deal with that. We're gonna try to get the shifter actually moving through all the gears. What else is on the list to start? That's it, right?
That's pretty much it.
That's gonna be version 1. We're gonna try to run it like that
Find out
tonight.
it's killing itself.
Slicks and nitrous tomorrow. So, the shifter, as delivered, will not, it doesn't go to park and it doesn't go to first, which feels pretty weird. It will ratchet down into an indicated first, but I know that's second gear. So at least what I'm gonna do is make that first gear. But then to get it back up into park, I don't know. I think usually there's a button that allows you to, you want to be locked out of reverse. You never want to shift into reverse while you're racing. Neutral's not the end of the world, but like there's almost always some kind of secondary button to push that allows it to go all the way to reverse and then into park. But I'm not seeing that. It might be broken off. This is like an older shifter. We'll figure it out. I'm not super familiar with this one. But let's start by getting it into first. So I can loosen these big, and this is the cable adjustment, and this is the adjustment of the actual inner cable. So what we need to do is disconnect this out of here. We know that this is happily in first, and then move the housing so that they line up, or extend this so that it's doing the job. Okay. So you're indicated first there, right, Lou? Okay. So I'll move the handle and I'll put this in first. I think I can wipe this. Let me just spin this in and see if it's enough to do it. All right, now start knocking it up in gear. Yep, okay, yep. You still won't go past that, right? Yeah, I think the shifter is busted for getting in reverse, or the lever's broke or gone, but I'm not worried about that. I'm worried about racing. So now we can get it in 1, 2, 3 in neutral. We still can't get it into reverse, but at least these are doing what they're saying they're doing. I have a sneaking suspicion that the reverse lockout is broken and they were running it like this so that they could get it in reverse, because we only care about racing. We want 1, 2, and 3. Great. But we're not gonna be able to get it in reverse anymore. We're giving that up. Yeah, we'll just beast it backwards. It'll be fine. So we were messing with this thing and we got it working right, as you're supposed to. You have to lift it up. So I'm in first now. I can go to second. I can go to third. And then you lift it up. You can go to neutral. Lift up again. You can go to park. And then you go to reverse and then park. So that's the deal. Because again, like I said, you want to have some kind of lockout. So it falls into this ratchet mode. First, second, third. That's how you race it, and then you lift it up and get it back into street mode or neutral or reverse or park or whatever. So we've got her dialed in. I was just trying to pull it up in the wrong gear, but should be a good shifter. I think we have way more functionality than we did before. It's in there bolting it nice and tight. So we're gonna move on to the next thing, which is see if this thing has oil pressure as soon as Stone gets back. So we've been seeing like 10, 15, 18 PSI oil pressure cruising on the highway. That's not enough to make sure that the engine is properly lubricated. It could certainly cause damage when we take it out and rip on it. We're hoping that this little electronic gauge is just reading bad. Sometimes the transducer sensor is bad. We put a mechanical gauge on there. They're a little bit more dead reliable. I'm gonna fire it up. If I see 20, when I rev it up, it goes up, we're gonna be thrilled. We're gonna hit the track. If I don't, we might have to take the pan off and see about this kind of notorious O-ring that fails in the LSs. Ready, here we go. All right, idling at a little under 20 is not the end of the world. It's kind of picking up. It should be. It seems to me like a suction problem. So as you're revving it up, the oil pump is working harder and harder. And if it was getting good flow of oil, it would pump more oil into this thing, but it's not. That's because I think it's got a suction problem. There's a tube, a pickup tube that goes right to the bottom of the oil pump in the front of the LS. And there's an O-ring that has to be, number one, you have to have the right type. There's two different ones, or if it's ripped, you'll see this. It's getting to like 24. It is not going down, but we're not under load. It's not going over like 23, revved up. Okay. The pickup I'm talking about is right here. The O-ring is right underneath the oil pump, which lives right there. I think we drain the oil and give it a go. There's no, I don't want to ruin this motor. It's running good. This car has been awesome to us. Just to take it out and thrash it, knowing it's probably going to get hurt, feels dumb to me. And it's just the first day. Tech's open until 10. They run really late, so let's get after it. As much as I don't want to work on this hot engine, let's do it. All right, I'm gonna just bust this oil pan off. We're gonna hope we can find a smoking gun, a bad ripped O-ring, wrong size O-ring. We were able to get one of the two sizes. We're gonna hope that one's the right one. Yeah, this is not what I want to be doing. I want to be out there. That looks really fun. Yeah. I hear a lot of cars running around, a lot of real nasty $5,000 cars. And I want to be in there. I want to play with those dudes, but it's not time yet. It's not time yet. This car has served us too well to just send it on low oil pressure without trying.
Yeah, she's pretty nice. 9 hours, no headaches, no struggles. I mean, come on.
And if you don't know, leaking a bunch of fluid is like the #1 no-no on a drag strip. So we're gonna make sure we get the transmission dealt with too. I mean, I wanna say this feels like a win already that we even got this thing bought, got it running on 8 cylinders and brought it here. But I don't think it's a win until it goes down the track and actually does something, especially on the nitrous. We had it on the nitrous and the slicks, that's a win. That's a win. And it goes halfway decent.
That's legendary.
This has been a week.
So if you couldn't see, this might have came into a little bit of heat along our 9-hour drive. I don't know how that would have happened, but it's what it's supposed to look like. One piece, not with a giant tear. It's pretty cooked. So new one's going. These don't get much easier to change, other than all the heat and burning yourself alive. Ta-da! You just throw the dipstick tube in, call it a day.
Nice. Yeah, so I was just looking at this motor. I noticed it was aluminum before, and now I'm seeing 6.0 liters, so it's a pretty gnarly truck engine. It's like an LQ4 or something, probably. Yeah. So it's more of an upgrade. Like, I believe it was built as a 5.3, so I just assumed that, he knew what it was.
This is pretty similar to the motor that's in my truck with the 243 heads, just minus the cam.
Minus the cam.
Yep.
That's why it's got so much torques. So for $3,300, you get a 6-liter carbed LS, swapped into a very decent Nova.
Dude.
Deal of forever. So there's not enough room to get the oil pan out. So I'm gonna just lift the motor up. I see a cherry picker over here. I'm gonna leave the car in the lift. We pulled the motor mount bolts off. or took the nuts off. I found this carb plate. We're just gonna lift the motor up a couple inches. We'll be able to leave it, pull it out, inspect everything, put it back in much more easily than trying to finagle it in there, which was just not happening. There was not enough room. And this car's got some room. As long as we don't smash that MSD box, we should be able to lift it up a couple inches. That's probably good, son. I want to get under it. Yeah, I'll do that. We got the pickup tube out of the pan after much wrestling and even more swearing. And there's no real smoking gun here. There's more metal in the pickup than I would like. I'm just trying to see if anything's cracked. We feel like there's a loss of suction. Could be the O-ring is ripped, but by the time I saw it, I don't know if we ripped it or it was ripped. And I'm looking to see if there's any cracks in the tube, which would also give you a loss of suction. Loss of suction, bad news, as we've talked about before. The other thing is, if this is too close to the bottom of the pan, it won't have enough space to suck enough oil in, and that'll do the same thing. It'll limit the overall amount of oil flow you're gonna get. If that was the case, we could bend this puppy up or cut some slits in the side of it or something. Can't tell if this got monkeyed with or not. Or this is just factory. These are factory monkeys working on it or aftermarket monkeys. Hard to tell. All right, so we realized we have the wrong O-ring. Part stores are closed. We're gonna wrap it for tonight. I wanna watch some racing. I wanna drink a beer. We'll get back at it in the morning. Let's see if we can get the right O-ring in there. Stone found a bunch of glitter in the pan. Not a great sign. He's gonna wipe it out. We're gonna ignore it. We're gonna put the thickest weight oil we can in this thing and send it down the track. It's gonna be awesome. But we are at Duct Tape Drags. I don't wanna spend the whole time in the shop. I wanna go out, see people, get rowdy, have fun, drink a beer, go to sleep. All right, it's morning time. We wanted to make sure that we have as much traction as we need on the street and on the strip, so we ordered up a set of Mickey Thompson ET Street R's and a set of sweet rally wheels from Speedway Motors. Barb actually had them overnight them to the track. They're just over in Phoenix, so pretty wicked. We're gonna throw these on. We're gonna go pick up that O-ring for the oil pickup tube, slap this thing back together and take it out on the strip with some thick oil in it and just see what it does. So we're gonna get these things mounted up at a local tire shop we just pulled up to, and we'll be jamming in a minute. Whole new morning. It's a whole new morning. They're directional. Did he tighten up both? All right, we're back with the parts to fix this car. We are at the Duct Tape Drags. I'm gonna go do the autograph signing. Stone and my brother Lewis are gonna try to get the O-ring on the pickup, back in there, rip the screen out of that thing, and start buttoning up the bottom end of the motor, drop it back down. I'll be back as soon as I can. We'll get this thing fired up and down the track. Good luck, boys.
Hey, have fun.
All right.
So, what we got going on here, if you look through this is very shiny oil. Good metal goo. So what we're gonna do to try to help alleviate some of this oil problem, you can see there's already stuff and some of this goo getting stuck in our screen. we just took our fancy screwdriver and we yoinked it right out. So if she lives, she lives. If she don't, she don't. But we're gonna make it happen. Going back in. Dudes and dudettes, we're back. The oil pickup tube is in with the new O-ring. Screen's yanked. That was more than enough fun getting it out. Our hands are shredded. Motor mounts are on. Transmission mount is on. Like, we're almost here. We got slicks going on. Tony's doing autographs, and when he gets back, this thing's gonna be doing burnouts and heading down the track. Let's do it.
Fire it up. Go ahead.
Yo.
There you go. She's doing something.
That's something.
We got a little bit. We're getting about 35 PSI. That's not nothing. Rev it up and hold it. Okay, we'll take it. All right, put it down to idle. It's running with the thicker oil. It's got a little more oil pressure in the 30 range maybe. It's definitely not great, but we're gonna run it no matter what. I'm here at this event. I want to run down the strip at Duct Tape Drags. So I'm just checking the transmission fluid. It looks good. I put a cord in it already. We're good with that. All right, Lou, turn it up. 26 at idle. That's good.
Way better than it was.
Yeah, we'll take it.
It was better than the 9-hour drive.
We're not going to warm it up. We're not going to do anything. We're going to move all our stuff into the pits, and then we're going to take it right out on the track. Nice work, boys.
We did it.
Way to come through. Way to haul. Nice. All right, let's pile everything in and hit the track. See what this Nova can do. All right, so we bought this thing running on 4 cylinders, whipped it back into shape, drove it 500 miles through the desert, made it here, tore the oil pan apart, tore a bunch of stuff apart, got it back together, and we're now finally gonna take this 6-liter LS carbureted running 79 Nova down the Tucson dragway and see just how quick it is. I'm super stoked. Duct Tape Drags is awesome. I'm very excited. Let's see what it does. Put it in the box, do a little burnout, see what it does. It's got a super tight converter in it. Let's see if we can get it up a little better. But that was awesome. Ran down the track. We got a number. Try to do better next time. Car didn't explode. We're having a good time. Thank you. I just did it by feel and sound. The tachometer is like triple what it should be. It was a mess, but super fun. Got the timing shack here. Yeah, there's my guy. Let's see what we got. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
What do we got? 1488 at 94. That feels good. Let's see if we can get her down a little lower. Closer to 13. We got a second in there for sure. So we just did our first run. The Nova worked awesome. It did a very sick burnout, which I was excited about. Got these new tires warmed up, ran at the line, didn't worry about, you know, reaction time or whatever, just sent it down to see what the car could do. Ran 1480 at 95 miles an hour. Left the line super soft. It's got a really tight converter in it. I'm gonna try to get it up on the converter a little bit earlier because it does eventually hit, but I think it's just a stock converter. I'm hoping we get it down in the 13s would be sick, but we'll see. It's definitely pretty powerful, but it's not super set up for drag racing. But we'll see what we can do to get down there. But I feel awesome. I mean, the car drove us here and has gone burnout straight down the track. It's just such a win already, man. This thing's killer. So what a good buy. I love this thing. So we're gonna try to go a little bit quicker, make a couple adjustments and see what we can do. Yeah. But I feel good, man. That was great. I think we got a little bit out. I think I was able to leave a little quicker. I think if you floor it immediately, it stumbles. So I kind of eased in, got it a little higher on the converter, and let it go, and it didn't stalk down quite as much. It didn't bog down quite as much. Thanks, man.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate it. All right, 14.83. And all right, so she runs 14.8 real consistently. We'll take it. No big wheel. All right, so I knocked a, I don't even know, not a 10th, 500ths off. Okay, all good. All good. It's consistent. That's what it is. It's a good bracket car. Nice bracket car. 1480. She still sounds great. This thing's a good car. If you put a converter in this, you can knock a second off of it, I believe. But I'm happy to be out here. This little Nova's running awesome. It's obviously not fully tuned for this trip, but man, good car. It will light those slicks up pretty hard too, which is nice. All right, another 1480. She's consistent. That's it. We're not gonna get a bunch more time out of it. It runs awesome. It drives straight. It felt a little better there. I thought we knocked a little more time off, but not much. You know, half a tenth. No big deal. Knocked off half a tenth. I think with a looser converter, this thing would see us 13. But generally, a wicked awesome car. I've already gotten an offer to buy it, so that's fun. We'll maybe leave it here. But man, I have kind of fallen in love with this thing. My aunt, my great aunt, had a 78 or 79 four-door six-cylinder that was her daily driver back in the day when I was real young. And I loved it. I thought it was super cool. And this thing is kind of like the muscled up version of that. She's consistent.
Consistent.
Yeah, it's a bracket car. She's a good bracket car.
if we're bracket racing, we got this.
Yeah, it's on.
Sold.
Yeah, dial in a 14.80 and then just run it.
We're going to go to the crowd, right?
Yeah, what do you think?
By the way, Tony Angelo's joined us here. Tony Angelo, stay tuned on YouTube. You're the first one to get this. Remember, you still get to race.
Yeah. I was here last year and I made it.
He says he's here last year and made it in, but...
Inflation, man, that's inflation. You gotta watch out.
So you are bogus.
Yeah. So we're digging in, trying to find everybody's secrets. It's pretty easy to tell if it's worth $5 grand or not. This kid's got a pretty stock MGB, and that thing's gonna run for sure. It's fun though. We've seen some pretty hidden stuff already.
But it's not what you want. You got what you wish for, but it's not what you want.
Pressure for sure. Forget it. Don't even pop the hood. Don't even pop the hood. Get it out of here. Get it out of here. No way. The Intrepid platform. I feel like these cars don't even exist anymore. Does anybody ever see them? They all melted into the junkyard. Rev it up. Yeah, he's fine, he's fine. Got nitrous? Any nitrous in here?
Twin engine.
What? Oh, hold on a minute, everybody. Hold on a second. There's another engine back here. What? I gotta see more. Hold on. All right, I like this a lot. Let me shake your hand. I love it. So 2 V6s, the one in the back. This front one is transversely mounted. The rear one has a transaxle, both driving front and rear wheels. I think we gotta let it run, right? They're not worth anything. It's a full-on pass.
Spent 2 days building a giant wall of duct tape to the back of his hatchback Nova. How cool is that?
Very cool.
So, how was your trip from LA?
It was just awful. We overheated, the exhaust fell off, the carburetor was leaking all over. Oh, we made it. We made it.
So it's actually a pretty decent car. What's
Yeah.
the outfit engine?
It's got one of those, yeah.
Let's have a look. Okay, it's got aluminum head, small block aluminum intake, carburetor, header, standard. I don't
Yeah,
know.
fancy belt drive.
The thing is worth more than $5,000. The question is, do you want to give him a pass because he has the giant roll of duct tape? Yeah. He's in? Okay.
Is he racing with it on?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, then yeah, I'm in. I'm back in.
Yeah. Are my eyes getting bad? Am I this thing great? So it's not too close to Great, yeah.
Cool. All right, so we ran 2 runs. This thing runs 14.8. Car is wicked awesome. We just did the judging for the Battle of the Beaters, which was super fun. This event is sick. It turns out you still can buy a relatively cheap muscle car if you get lucky. Something that'll take you hundreds and hundreds of miles, run a pretty quick ET, and just have a blast with it. And what we're gonna do now, which I think is perfectly appropriate, is that James is back, and we've made his car work. It runs on 8 cylinders, it runs 14, it's been reliable for us, and we're just gonna sell it back to him for the price. Come on, you wanna come on in here, buddy? So I told him, just give me my money back, and you can have all the upgrades, you can even have the tools we bought, and we'll send you on your way. That sound good, buddy?
Yeah.
All right, awesome. Yeah, cool. Awesome way to end this. I've had a total blast. That's it for this episode of Stay Tuned. I'm gonna go watch some grudge racing, and this has been killer. We'll see you guys next time.